Welcome to Yoga for Cancer. I'm Rebecca, and pardon me, today is Inauguration Eve. We've made it. We've made it to this moment. I am cautiously optimistic that there will be peace and we can move into the next era. And that's all I'll say on that. But happy to see everyone. We are going to start out in a reclined bound angle pose. And I'm going to demonstrate so that you have a good idea. And I think this will work for most everyone, but if not, then you can just lie on your back with a pillow underneath your knees. So I'm going to move it back here so you can see me. And I'm going to lie back. I've got my blocks. If you don't have blocks, then have your cushions, one on either side, a pillow or something. And I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and let my knees drop apart. Whoops, grab my block. And I'm going to use my blocks or cushions or blankets or whatever you have to help take some of the stretch out of this posture, but I'm going to let my knees drop apart. So from this direction, so I have my feet together and my knees dropping apart. So take a moment and see if you can find comfort in this pose. If you need a pillow or something small under your head, that's perfectly appropriate. And take a moment to settle, allowing the weight of the legs to help them drop open, but modulating that with the placement of your pillows or cushions or blocks. Breathing into the sensations in your body, feeling the length of your spine against your mat or floor, allowing the head to be heavy, the back of the head dropping gently into whatever's beneath you. Allow your shoulders to soften and drop. Arms drop down. You can have your arms extended with palms facing up, or you can bend your elbows and place your hands somewhere on your body if that's more comfortable. Allow your hips to be heavy, sinking into the ground beneath you. Allow your knees to drop open. Keep the soles of your feet together. And take several breaths as you rest in this opening posture. If it's comfortable, allow your head to gently roll from side to side without lifting it up. Gentle roll. Take just a few more breaths here, noticing where you feel the breath in your body. Seeing if you can keep your focus on that sensation for 5 more breaths. Keep coming back to the sensation of breath. And after your 5th or so, exhale, release control of the breath. move your cushions out of the way and walk your feet out wide to the edges of your mat. And we're going to drop knees gently from side to side. A little kind of a windshield wiper effect with the knees gently dropping from side to side. And then come back to stillness. We're going to try a little sequence that I just learned recently, and we'll see how it works. So we start with knees bent, feet on the mat, bringing your feet a little bit closer together than usual, maybe touching or close to touching. Inhale here and then exhale and gently let your knees drop apart. We're not going to stay long. And then begin to extend your legs long, turning your toes to face up. Draw your knees back to the and your feet back to the starting position. So it's 3 parts, starting here with the bent knee, dropping knees apart, and then extending your legs. As you extend them, they roll back in so that your knees and toes are facing up. So we'll do a few more repetitions. Draw the feet back to your starting position. Drop the knees apart and then slide your legs out and extend, pressing out through your heels. Draw the feet in. Drop the knees apart and then slowly extend them. They rotate in the hips as they extend to point straight up. Let's do 2 more. Sliding along. Last time, draw them in, exhale apart, and press them out long. Draw your knees into your chest and rock gently from side to side, releasing the effort of that new frog swimming series. So from here, we're going to keep hold of the right knee and extend the left leg out, pressing out through the heel. If that's not comfortable, you can keep the knee bent. But we're going to keep switching. Inhale here, exhale, and switch. Inhale in place and exhale, switch. And then see if you can speed it up a little bit. Switch and switch and switch. You get the idea. Let's do a few more. And last one, draw your knees in and gently rock from side to side. Take a moment here. And then when you're ready, roll to one side and make your way up to sitting. I'm going to sit up on a cushion because that gives me the body alignment that feels best. Let me scoot back a little further. You'd think after all this time I'd know the exact positions I needed to be in, but it seems to change every day. Strange. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, feeling your sitting bones, your sits bones connecting to whatever is underneath you. Reaching up through the crown of the head to find length in the spine and the back of the neck. Inhaling, rising up, lengthening the spine. Exhaling and softening and sinking. Couple more. Inhale to rise and exhale to ground. Beautiful. Let's continue with sun breaths. Inhale, gently raise your arms, palms up. Turn palms down and slowly lower your arms. I have a shoulder injury on this side, so I'm really modifying by just bringing my arms up and slowly lowering them down. Of course, if you have the range of motion, you can bring them all the way up. But find what feels comfortable in your body. If one side is not cooperating today for whatever reason, then stay with both sides the same, right? So accommodate the side that has less range of motion. Just a few more like this. Beautiful. And the next time that arms are lifted, we're going to exhale and cross our arms, grabbing opposite shoulders. Inhale here, and then exhale and carefully side bend. Inhale to center and side bend to the other side. Now you can stay with this or exhale and side bend and then release the same side arm to come over a little further. Exhale, side bend, and maybe release the arm. So that's two. There's one more version. Side bend, lower the arm, and maybe you can raise the other arm up. Bring them back to center to come through center. Exhale, support, and maybe extension. Okay, so take a few more breaths to move gently from side to side. Whatever sequence works best in your body, staying for extra breaths, extra arm movements, or the simplest side to side. And this or the next time that you come through center, pause here and we'll continue. We're going to bring our hands back up this time. Make sure that you're crossing the opposite arm in front. If you don't remember, then just choose the side that feels less easy, maybe the awkward side. Inhale to sit up nice and tall, and then begin to rotate through your shoulders to move into a twist. We won't stay. We'll inhale back to center and exhale, twist. So we're really moving from the shoulder girdle in this twist, inhaling up, and then both shoulders, both elbows, right, are moving around. Inhale to center and exhale, twist. Just a couple more like this. Gives us a little different access to this movement in the body. And this or the next time that you come through center, release arms down. We're going to move into a seated bound angle. So similar to what we had lying down, but this time we'll be sitting up. So bringing soles of feet together, knees apart. Now you can be sitting up on a cushion like I am. In fact, again, I will scooch back. Now you can see my feet. So sitting with your soles of feet together, knees apart, you can always use those blocks, if you still have them handy, or cushions, to give you a little extra support underneath your knees if you need it. Your feet don't have to be right up against your body. You can press them out fairly far, making a diamond shape. So find a comfortable seat Make sure you're not rocking back onto your tailbone, that you can sit up nice and tall. And then we'll move into our seated cat-cow from this position. So bring your hands to your knees or shins. Inhale and sit up tall, and then exhale. And now tuck your tailbone and sort of like a roll back. Let your head drop forward. We'll now roll the pelvis forward, inhaling, opening the heart, maybe reaching back through the crown of the head. And then exhaling, tucking, drawing the belly in, chin to chest. And opposite, rolling forward. So the movement, same as how we normally do this, that's the movement of the pelvis that starts this ripple up the spine. It's a little bit different when we're in this position, so use your hands for a little support. And again, have something under your knees if you need a little extra support there as well. Just a couple more, really rolling through the spine. And then see if you can find that circling motion by moving your rib cage to the side and forward, to the side and back. So it's more rib cage than it is your whole upper body. See if you can find that. In dance, it's called an isolation. It may be challenging if you have some tightness in that part of your body, and if so, then just find a path of smoothness through this movement. Use your hands. And then switch the direction if you haven't already. See if you can roll that rib cage around the spine. Couple more. And then come to some stillness here. Now we are going to move your blocks out of the way, bring your hands behind you, and walk your feet out wide to the edges of your mat. You may or may not want to slide off of your cushion if you're sitting on one. Hands behind for support. Begin to drop your knees to one side and then the other. Stay with the knees dropping, or add that circling around the reach with the arm. Allowing both knees to drop down. Make sure your feet are wide enough apart so that, see how this knee can fit, can't quite see, there's my foot. This knee can fit in, so both knees are dropping. That may not work in your body, so see what approximation of that you can find. And again, we're just working on this internal and external rotation of the hip and a little spinal rotation. And this or the next time that you come through center with your hands behind you for support, press your feet out in front of you, sitting up as tall as you can. Use your hands, your fingertips for support. Dandasana, staff pose, sitting up nice and tall, pressing out through your heels. We're going to alternate pointing and flexing through our feet. So press the left toes towards me and draw the right toes towards you, and then switch and switch, switch and switch. And continue. Couple more. Getting the joints warmed up. Come to stillness. Maybe the legs would like to flop in and out for a moment. And then final seated pose for this sequence, we're going to come back to a cross-legged position. I'm going to sit up on my cushion. And I'm going to draw my left foot up on to the right knee. Now, this may be challenging for you, and if so, then you can keep the foot down or even put it up on a cushion or a block. Here's the intention. Now, if this is comfortable for you, if you have a sock on, you might want to pull it off. We're going to intertwine our fingers with our toes. So I'm sliding one finger in between each sets of toes. Now, if you've never done this before, it may feel quite stiff. So just do the best that you can. If you prefer not to do this, you can just hold on to the ball of your foot, and we're going to circle. Gentle circles. Find a place to reverse direction. Circle. And gently release. If your toes are intertwined, let them come out. And then just move your fingers and toes around. Maybe smack the bottom of your foot gently. And shake out hand and foot. And we'll switch sides. Bring the right foot up in some way that you can reach it. This is working well for me, having my foot up on this block. And I've got my other leg extended. Fingers of the left hand in between the toes. This side's easier. Interesting. Beginning to circle. And again, if you don't want to intertwine fingers and toes, you can just grab the ball of your foot and your toes and do the same circling. This should feel good, tending to our feet that hold us up and take so much of the burden. Reversing direction if you haven't already. Noticing what you notice. I'm always amazed where I find tension and where I find ease. And finishing your circles, gently release. Maybe some gentle patting of your foot. And then a shaking out, hand and foot. Extend your legs one more time, little bounces, little windshield wipers. And we'll now take our time making our way up to standing. Now you can always follow along with me, or if you have a better way of getting up, then do that. Today I'm going to cross one leg under and come up in a little bit of a squat, lunge, sliding the other foot, and walking my hands all the way up to standing. And move your props out of the way. Got a nice pile there. Even a little further. And take a comfortable wide stance on your mat, just a little, probably maybe mat width, a little wider than hip distance. Let's rock a little bit from side to side. And maybe make some circles. You can bend your knees and hula circles around. Feeling your head of the femur rolling around in the acetabulum, the hip socket. Reverse direction, if you haven't. Noticing if it's different. And then come to stillness. Walk your feet in a little closer together so they're hip distance apart. Bring your hands to your knees. We're going to work with feet, knees and hips, and then more hips in a sequence that I think also comes from Tai Chi. Again, I've only studied Tai Chi a little bit, but we borrow from different disciplines. So here's how this goes. Watch how it looks. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. I'm going to roll around on my toe. So I'm kind of dropping in, lifting up onto the ball of my feet, rolling to the outside and coming down, right? Lifting up closer to the big toe side and then rolling to the little toe side and down. So rolling through. Now, obviously, this is working through my arch, through my toes, through my ankle, little knee action and hip action. So see if you can find this movement. So basically, I'm rolling along the ball of the foot. See if you can reverse the direction. I don't know about you, this feels amazing to me. And come to stillness. We'll switch sides. Lift your heel first and then roll towards the big toe side and then over to the little toe side, along the edge and back up. So it's really rolling all the way around through the foot. Make it work for you. And then find a way to reverse the movement. Couple more, and then come to stillness. Walk your feet in even closer. We're going to come into, it's almost like our chair pose, right? Hinging at the hips, bending the knees, bringing your hands to your knees. Now watch this movement. I'm moving my knees to one side, around and up, around and up. Now the knees are not actually circling. The circling is happening in the ankles and the hips. If this feels bad in your knees, please don't do it. Feels good in mine. Reverse direction. Rolling around and up. And last time, come up to standing. Last part of the sequence, I'm going to step my left foot forward. I'm coming onto the ball of the foot. My knee is bent a little bit, and you'll see why in a second. Hands on your hips. I'm rolling my hip up and back. Rolling my hip. So it presses forward, up, back, and down. Yeah, nice roll through the hip, focusing on the left. But of course, the pelvis is moving in both directions. Yeah, beautiful. See if you can reverse it. I find this harder. Roll back, up, forward, down. Yeah, great. Couple more. And we'll switch sides. Stepping back with the left, I'm stepping the right foot forward, I'm on the ball, and rolling the hip. Up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. So you see my standing leg is pretty still. My hip rolling leg is bending through the knee. And reverse it. Not bad. I've had 2 hip replacements, so I'm proud that I can roll through my hips. And come to stillness. Step out a little wider, and let's come into our comfortable and gentle Tai Chi twist. I don't know, maybe some of you study Tai Chi and you can let me know what you think of these movements or if you have suggestions of how to improve them. I've studied Tai Chi. I took one course and I loved it, but I didn't stay with it. But these movements have found their way into yoga. And so we borrow. We borrow from dance, dance borrows from yoga, or all of our movement sequences. And let that end and release. We're going to come into a balance sequence. So take time to find support where you need it, maybe turning for fingertips on a wall. Maybe you have a nice sturdy piece of furniture on either side. We're doing tree. If you like to use the block method, you can bring a block between your feet. I'll cue it that way since we had our blocks handy. So you don't have to have the block, but begin to squeeze in towards the midline, snuggling the block, but that movement moves all the way up through the center line of the body, from the inner legs, pelvic floor, low belly, middle, and all the way up to the crown of the head. Nice engagement. Reach down through your fingertips and up through the crown of the head, squeezing in, nice and strong. Take a moment to find your drishti, your focal point. It's that unmoving spot. I know some people like to look down. I look at eye level, but of course, find the spot that works for you. Take a moment to steady. Imagine you're sending roots deep into the ground and then shift to the left. Raising the right heel, turning out. Maybe you rest your heel on the block or bring your foot up to the block or to the inner leg, above or below the knee. Find your steadiness, your foot position. Make sure you're not popping your hip. Get up and over your standing leg. And then make sure that breath is flowing. You can always come in and out of the leg position. We're looking for the grounding, the rootedness in the lower body, the movement of energy up through heart center and out, growing our branches. I do sometimes change my focal point when I grow my branches. Sometimes I look up a little bit higher. Make sure that breath is flowing. Find your balance. It's very strengthening to work with one-legged poses. We tease out the imbalances because we can't hide, right? One leg at a time. Inhale in place and exhale. Draw hands to heart center. Come to stillness. Now, of course, we sometimes have reasons why one side of the body does not function like the other. And of course, we always honor those differences and we find our ways to work with, not against, those differences. So if adaptation is necessary, please do what you need to do. If you need additional help, because of our Zoom format, I'm not really able to help you so much during class, but I'm always available after class for as long as you need to work out anything, any challenges that you're facing in class. So please take advantage of that. Come to stillness, hands at heart center. Find your focal point. Draw down into the depths of the earth. Shift ever so slightly to the right to free up the left leg. Maybe you're resting your heel or toes on the block, or maybe your foot is above or below the knee on the other leg. Find your stability. Get up nice and tall. Make sure you're really engaged through your legs, through your hips, through all of your supporting muscles. Draw the energy up through heart center and open the canopy of your tree. Lift through the heart. Take a breath or two. And then slowly come back through heart center and find some stillness. 3 breaths here. Maybe eyes close. Maybe you're focused on your drishti. And let it go, release, and shake out. We have one more standing sequence today. Moving your block out of the way. Take a nice and wide stance on your mat. And then turn your legs out about 45 degrees. Make sure that the turning comes at the hips so that knees and toes are facing in the same direction. From here, we raise our arms to shoulder height, opening the heart, lifting up, 5-pointed star. Shine your heart light. Big inhale. Exhale, bend at the elbows and at the knees and sink down into goddess pose. Feel your settling into the seat of this pose. Keep pressing your knees wide apart, dropping straight down. Inhale and bring your hands to heart center. Exhale, can you drop just a little bit more and then press it away? Oh, the relief. Big inhale. Get even bigger. Shine brighter here. And then drop into goddess. Feel the power of this pose. Masculine or feminine, we can all appreciate the work of the goddesses. Dropping down, finding strength. Bring hands to heart center because we must bring compassion to power. Exhale and drop into the pose and then press it away, opening up. Guys, we have our first woman vice president being inaugurated tomorrow. Let's find the goddess, the strength, the joy. Hands to heart center, sending our blessings. Drop and press it away. Release. And slowly walk your feet back in. I don't want to talk about politics, but today, tomorrow, we are in a moment of history, and I know we can all recognize that. Let's make our way back down to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, extending legs out wide. Again, make sure you have support. Maybe you have a folded blanket that you sit on the edge of. I like to just take my bolster and bring it right up to my hips. It gives me, I'm not sitting on it, but it gives me just that little extra bit of support. Sitting up nice and tall, flexing through your feet, knees and toes, all pointing up towards the ceiling. If you need more support, bring your hands over here for the moment. Sit up tall, reaching through the crown. And draw the left leg into a bent shape, bringing the sole of the foot to the inner thigh of the right leg. We'll inhale and raise arms up. Exhale, lower, the left and reach away, stretching long away from the extended leg. Inhale through center, lower your hand to the inside of the leg. And then, again, shoulder injury for me. So I'm just going to bring my fingertips to my shoulder and come into a side bend. If you have the range, extend your arm overhead. Take a few breaths. And then we'll move one breath for each movement. Inhale up and exhale away. Inhale up and exhale towards the bent leg and continue. And this or the next time that you come through center, bring both fingertips, both hands to the fingertips behind you and switch your legs. Inhale up, exhale the right arm down, reach away from the extended leg. Inhale through center, lower your hand to the inside of the leg, and exhale up and over towards your toes. The movement of this pose is to come to the place where you can grasp your toes and then draw your heart forward between your arms. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I can move in that direction. And then one breath, one movement. And this or the next time that you come through center, lower fingertips to the ground, extend both legs out wide. Sit up nice and tall, and we're going to hinge at the hip, coming forward with a long spine. Now, if it's helpful to have your hands behind you for extra support, that's great. Stay here. Now, watch that your knees stay pointing towards the ceiling, right? So you don't drop your legs out, or some of us drop in. Try and keep them nice and aligned. Flex through your feet. Stay here, or if it works, walk your fingertips in front. Again, we're keeping a long spine, so I'm reaching through the crown of the head. On each inhale, press down. Maybe you can bring your hands to the mat and then draw back using the sticky mat to help you elongate through your spine. As you exhale, maybe there's a softening and you can come a little further forward. Take your time working with this gentle stretch. Maybe it's not gentle, so back up. A few more breaths here. And then press into fingertips, walking back. Sit up nice and tall. And then use your hands to help your legs come back to center. Little bounces. This helps to let go in the hips. And then windshield wipers. Sometimes I'm actually moving my feet, and sometimes I like to let my legs be really still, right, and unengaged, and then I use my hands. So I'm just sort of flopping them in and they flop back out. Some of us might naturally flop in and then you'd go the other way, right? Okay. Loosening up. Slowly make your way on to your back and draw your knees in so that you can gently rock from side to side. stay with this movement, or if happy baby is in your practice, you can draw one arm to the inside of your knee, but the outside of your foot. And then you draw the knee back towards your shoulders, one side or both sides. Rocking side to side. Great massage for the low back. Maybe in your happy baby, you can extend one leg out at a time, or maybe both legs. See what works for you. Take a moment with this pose, and then draw your knees back in when you're ready. And just take a moment to notice if there is anything else that your body is calling for to end your practice before we move into Shavasana. Maybe you'd like some additional knees to chest. Maybe you'd like some twisting. Maybe some bridge. What is your body calling for at this moment? Can you take a moment to end your practice following your body's lead? Take another 2 or 3 minutes to complete your practice, and then begin to make your way into your position for a little guided meditation and then into Shavasana. Maybe you'd like your bolster or pillows under your knees, or your legs up the wall, or knees on a chair. Maybe you want to lie on your belly or on your side. Any of these options are perfectly acceptable. I'm trying to get my position set too. And once you find your comfortable position for Shavasana, take a moment to take just a little bit of inventory. Noticing if there's anywhere that you're holding tension, lifting up away from the floor. Can you soften and let the body slip gently into the supports beneath you? Notice if you're holding any tension in your feet. We did a lot of footwork today. Let the legs be heavy wherever they are. The hips sinking into the softness of the earth beneath you. The belly open and receptive. Heart open, shoulders heavy, dropping down towards the floor and down towards your hips, away from your ears. Allow your arms to be heavy, either elbows bent, hands resting, or arms extended, maybe palms facing up. Relax your neck and jaw. Let your teeth be gently parted, your tongue resting in the mouth. Soften the muscles around your eyes and between your eyebrows. Feel a smooth, feel a smooth and broadening of the forehead. And a feeling of open receptivity at the crown of the head. We're going to do, we're going to do a gentle breath meditation. We'll start with the number 54. Inhale, 54. Exhale, 54. Next inhale, 53. Exhale, 53. Continue to count down, counting each inhale and exhale from 54 to 0. If you lose your place, go back to the top or the last number you remember. When you get to 0, rest. Santosha invites us into contentment by taking refuge in a calm center, opening our hearts in gratitude for what we do have, and practicing the paradox of not seeking. Stay in the center and notice each moment with calm serenity. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into fingers and toes. When you feel ready, roll to one side and pause. And then press in to your hands to come all the way up to sitting, allowing your attention to stay deeply inward for another moment or two. We'll seal our practice with one chant of Om for the community we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join, bringing hands to heart center, we'll inhale. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with each other.